screen. You can hear me? Okay, fantastic. All right, so today is my final session, and I want to say a very big thank you to American Spaces, for the opportunity to be on this platform. It's been very engaging, and I've had a number of new things, learned a number of new things too, and it's been quite interesting. All right, so today, Module 3 will focus on the art of financial management, and is going to encapsulate everything we've been talking about since the inception of this series. All right, so, and it will be, because we may not spend 2 hours, so we have enough time, maybe 30 minutes to have discussions, question and answers where necessary. So if you have any area that is still not very clear to you in the past 2 sessions, it's an opportunity for us to clarify today. All right, so if you have any question, just please note them. All right, so I'll come back to this video, 10 greatest personal finance lessons. Okay, we'll possibly do it last. So let's go into today's discussion. Then we go back to this video, possibly we have the time to listen to it. All right, last week we had a task, and the task was share a personal financial goal using the SMART concept. Last week we dealt with the SMART goal, a SMART goal, extensively, and we had some case studies around it. So today, let's start the class by 1 or 2 volunteers telling us about their personal financial goal using the SMART concept that we talked about last week. Who wants to go first? Ikeja. Is anybody ready at Ikeja? Abeokuta, Calabar, any other outlets, any other space? Or do you call it corner, any other corner? Is anybody ready to share a personal financial goal using the SMART concept? You want to buy a house, you want to travel out for your academics. Can you share with us using the SMART concept? And let's analyze it together. Is anybody ready? Oka, I'm seeing some guys shaking their heads in Oka. The guy in cap, are you ready to go? Are you ready?
We're ready.
All right. Can somebody share his or her personal financial goal using the SMART concept? Okay, so somebody's raising up his hand, right?
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. You can go ahead.
Okay, so thank you. I would like to give some point that I want, like how I plan my life. So, but firstly, I just planned to enter school to study electrical engineer. Due to have my
Study what?
electrical engineer.
Okay, thank you.
So, have my dreams of having my own car company, like building cars. So I just find it interesting. So like I love all the whole tech, both from engine to the whole electrical part. So now I also worked in some car shops, mobile shops. So I work there. So I do watch how they do all the whole repair, both repairing of the gearbox and the engine, even some of the electrical faults. So I've seen the whole stuff, and that's what I've been trying to do. I'm also into robotics. So
Okay.
I now dreamed of, so after my schools, I will now do my master's degree. I'll try to
All right.
do my
Okay.
master's degree. So,
All right. Thank you. So, were you in class last week? Were you in class the last session when we discussed the SMART financial goal?
I'm not sure I was in class last week.
Oh, okay. So definitely you don't understand the question. So who was in class last week that can bail us out? The man in cap. Okay.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So I want to change my laptop this year. I want to get a new one, a brand new laptop that can do much more than what I have. In order to achieve this, I've decided to cut back on some unnecessary spendings I make, maybe on food and drinks. Then also, if I see any opportunity to make money, I'll go into it. Right now, I'm into graphic design, so I'll try and get more clients this month, and hopefully by the end of maybe the first semester, that will be April, I would have enough money to change it. I would also sell the one I have currently, and then add money on top to another to achieve that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for a very good attempt. All right. So what is wrong with that goal? What's your name, my friend in cap?
Ebube.
You said?
Ebube.
Ebube, thank you, Ebube. So Ebube just shared his goal. He wants to get a laptop, and he believes that he has told us his plan using the SMART concept. So let's analyze Ebube's goal. Is this SMART? Who can give it a try? Is Ebube's goal SMART? Is Ebube's goal SMART?
That is very smart. Yeah.
Okay. Is it SMART?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ebube, let us go together. Obibo, is somebody raising up his hand in Oka?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, I can see somebody's hand at the back. Yes, Oka is like taking over from Ikeja today. Oka, well done.
Okay, sit.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is Ebube a SMART goal?
Yes. It's good.
Okay.
Smart. Based on what he said he needs a laptop, and he's a graphic designer. And as a graphic designer, you need smart laptops. You can't use outdated laptops for designing. Now, if eventually he buys a laptop, you have one, you already have the skill that will retain form of maintenance where you can fetch money and maintain the laptop. So I think it's good, it's smart.
All right, thank you. Thank you, my friend in Oka. All right, somebody in Ikeja. I must always come back to Ikeja, of course. Ikeja is Ebube's goal SMART. Ikeja is Ebube's goal SMART. You can see SMART, the acronym for called SMART on the board. S for specific, M for measurable, A attainable, R realistic, and T time bound. Is Ikeja there? Is Ebube's goal a SMART goal? Is somebody talking from Ikeja? Okay, Bauchi, you participated very well last week. Is Ebube's goal a SMART goal? Bauchi.
You come again?
Hello, Bauchi.
Come again? Can you come again? We didn't get your question.
Somebody speaking in Bauchi?
Yes, we say, can you come again?
I didn't get that.
Repeat the question, sir.
The question, if we just share this goal to get a computer, is a fashion, I think it's a designer, and he wants to get a computer that will aid his job as a designer. And he said he should get the computer by the end of the semester. He's also a student. So we are asking the question, is that a smart goal? And he said he can contribute money from some side hustle to get that computer. Okay, so let's save our time. Ebube, your goal is beautiful. It's actually a financial goal because it requires finances. But your goal is not smart, unfortunately. Do you know why your goal is not smart? Ebube, you have not told us how much your computer costs. You have only told us that you are going to save towards buying a computer. You have not told us how much you can save on a monthly basis to get that computer. And you have not told us the timeline. You just said, hopefully by end of the semester. That is not a smart goal. So for the benefit of everybody, it will be thank you for that very good attempt. It's also showing forth that, okay, we need to look at this smart goal again. Your goal is smart when it is specific. Ebube's goal was very specific. Ebube, you want a laptop. That is a specific goal. Measurable means make sure your goal is trackable. The amount, how much is the computer? Ebube was silent on that. So we don't know how to say Ebube has, if it's 150K, if it's 200K, if it's 300K that the computer will cost, we don't know. So we cannot really measure your goal. Attainable. Can you really work towards the goal? Very well. He did very well on that, saying that from the work he's doing, from the side hustle, he can contribute. Although he didn't tell us how much he will be contributing to achieve buying that computer. Is it a realistic goal? Yes, it's realistic. It's possible. He can get a computer and it makes sense. Is it time bound? He tried a little bit by saying by the end of the semester. I don't know when the semester will end. I would have been more comfortable if it would be said in the next 6 months. In the next 6 months, whether we're in a semester or not, whether ASU is on strike or not, in the next 6 months, I'm going to get my computer. As again, just saying by the end of the semester, what happens if the semester is prolonged for the next 6 months? Exactly. So that is a smart goal. Ebube, have we done justice to your goal now? All right. Okay. Thank you. So go and review that goal. You have a very beautiful goal, but let it be a much smarter goal so that it can be attained. Financial goals will help you turn your aspirations to achievement. Ebube's goal of having a computer, if it is smart, will help you turn your aspiration of having a computer into actual achievement of making money from the computer. All right, let's go to today's class. The art of financial management. So what we are trying to do today is to combine all our knowledge from Module 1, Module 2, into making financial management an art as against being a science. So everything we have been talking about, what is an asset, what is a liability. So some people, they are touring, how does this affect our lives? That is what should be most important to us. So how can financial management be an art as against just being a science? And they are very simple things. They are still the same thing we have been talking about, but today we are going to be personalizing them more to our day-to-day activity. Okay, so let's look at your comfort zone. I have an analysis here. To be comfortable as a man, as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, you have to manage your expenses. We've talked about expenses in the last 2 sessions. We have to drive down your expenses. You can see the arrow coming down. So for you to be financially stable, for you to be financially free, your expenses must be worked on, because expenses are things that take money away from your pockets. So how can we work on our expenses? By driving it down. So you are better off if you can drive down your expenses. As you are driving your expenses, you must try to increase your income. Look at these two tasks. Drive down your expenses, increase your income. Reduce your expenses, increase your income. See, there are two ways to make money in business. When we teach business trainings, we tell people that there are two ways generally to make money in business. Number one, you can increase your price. Number two, you can reduce your cost. Then you can make money from both decisions. But the best way to make money is to increase your price and at the same time reduce your cost, and you make a killer margin. So I'm bringing that concept into our personal financial management as an art. I'm saying we need to keep looking at how to reduce your expenses, at the same time looking at diversifying your income in such a way that you can have multiple streams of income. And if you can achieve this together, you have what we call your comfort zone. You have what I call your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the point where your expense reduces and your income increases. Where they meet is a point where you are comfortable. So as much as possible, even though it's so difficult to reduce our expenses, in today's VUCA, in today's very volatile economy called Nigeria, it's quite challenging to reduce our expenses because inflation is crazy, close to 30% as we speak. But we can as well double our income. So if we cannot increase our expenses, we cannot reduce our expenses because of inflation, we can increase our income. We can look for how to do one or two other things that can diversify our income stream. We are young people. We have one thing we have as young people is energy. We must be able to use that energy for a productive cause for ourselves, for our family, and for our nation. So the more problem you are able to solve, the more income you can earn. You understand? So my advice for you to get to your comfort zone in your financial life is to see how you can reduce your expenses, at the same time increase your income, diversify your income, have multiple streams of income, legitimate income, legitimate. When I say income, I'm not talking about betting income. Mind you, I'm not talking about Bet Niger, because for some people that is another source of income. That is not the kind of income. That one is gambling. So the income I'm talking about is from the work you do, is from your investment, is from your savings, is from side hustle. Look at other certification you can have. Look at other qualifications you can acquire online that can help you get another 100K, 200K income from working online, from working remotely. You are young guys, you are smart people, you should explore how to, diversify your income. So this is what I call the comfort zone, your comfort zone. So your comfort zone is the point where your expenses reduces and your income grows. Is at that point where they meet, that is your comfort zone. All right. So if you have questions, we can go back. Okay, so making financial management an art. In that analysis I just drew, I said you must ensure your expenses come down, or at least manage your expenses so that it doesn't go overboard. Okay, so I have somebody's raising up his hand in Oka.
Yes, sir, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
So you made mention of online qualifications that we could get. So I get jobs of like 100K, 200K. And these are some of the things that we'll be hearing as youth while growing up, like go to school, get this certificate, get that, and you get a job at it. But like, what jobs in particular are you talking about?
Say what job? What job? The question.
Yes, like basically at the end of the day, like what job?
Yeah.
Huh?
At the end of the day, what job will you be able to do, right?
Yes, those online, like what online qualifications can we use to get certain types of job? Like if we are going to read English, what jobs can we get in English? If we're reading math, what jobs can we get in math? Stuff like that.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. And so when I said that, what I mean is that there are so many opportunities online. There are so many guys that are actually getting job from countries outside Nigeria. And it's because in most countries, most developed country, it is what you can offer that determines the kind of pay, the kind of job that you get. You understand? So online certifications, if you have a degree or a passion for programming, data science, other areas like that, you understand, digital marketing, these are things, areas you can invest in yourself and have opportunities to manage. In my company, there's a lady that she's in school, she's in final year in Ife. So she's in final year in Ife. Yes, she manages our social media. She manages our Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, our email marketing, our blog. She does everything. The day I heard that she was in school, I was surprised. Wow, because I know how much you pay on a monthly basis. Because she has acquired the skill. She writes so well that I love her writing. I'll even tell her, write an article for me, I will edit it and I will take ownership. And that is the kind of thing I'm talking about. While she's in school, the lady is covering her bills and collecting a salary that some graduates are not collecting. And that is the point I'm making. It's not far-fetched. It's something that is commonplace. So aside that, you talk about English, math. Yeah, if you're an English teacher, why can't you set up an English, a private tutor in English or in mathematics? You think there's no need for it? There's a need for it. But the problem is that the job is too small for us. And that is our mentality. But at this time is a very critical time that you need to diversify your income. If you are good at English, good at mathematics, look for ways you can actually make money through that, through what God has given you as a skill. So that's the point I'm making. So there are a lot of examples. It's not tailored towards one particular area. It's just where you can, develop yourself, that people can pay you to render such services. So that is the point I'm making. All right, so I manage your expenses. Manage your expenses. One of the first key survival tips in a period of inflation is to adjust your standard of living to the prevalent economic conditions. Things have changed. Things are so expensive now. Inflation is crazy, and there's nothing anybody seems to be doing about it. So if your income is not growing, you have to manage your expenses as much as possible. You cannot live your life to impress people. You have to cut your coat, your clothes according to your cloth, not according to your size any longer. So maintain a status quo lifestyle with a salary hit by inflation. Maintaining a status quo lifestyle with a salary hit by inflation isn't a practical way of winning the financial war. What I'm saying is that things are no longer the way they used to be. If you want to continue to maintain how we were living before Tinubu came to power and removed subsidy, without you looking at how to double your income or triple it, then you are going to run into financial mess. Reason is your income is not growing, but your expense is growing. You have to manage your lifestyle in such a way that, hey, I'm still fine. So that is what I mean by managing your expenses. You cannot tell the government to add subsidy back. It was a political decision. It was a policy they said they're going to implement, and policies have implications. Our decisions have implications. And one of the implications the policy is having on us is inflation is galloping. And when inflation gallops, this is what we are going to experience. Increase in cost of food and food items, product and services. So what do we need to do? We need to look inward and cut off expenses that want and not need. You want to go to cinema, you want to do vacation and cool. You might need to look at how to cut that aspect so that you can at least be financially free. Know where every income you earn goes is another important step in managing your money very well. We've talked about budgets. our last two sessions dwell significantly on budget. So what we are talking about budget is you send your money on errand. You must determine how every income you earn is spent. So don't just spend on intuition. Don't spend the way the money comes in. You cannot manage your expenses by not properly aligning your budgets, properly allocating your income. To, okay, you are going to savings, no matter how small. You 10%, 20%, you are going to investment, no matter how small. The remaining 60%, you are going to expenses. I'm going to send this to mama. I'm going to send this to baba. Your daddy, you must be able to determine how your money will be spent. And that is the best way to manage your expenses. Otherwise, you realize that you are working for money and money will not be able to work for you. All right, so that's number one. So let's be practical. I have here 10 tips to manage your expenses. Managing your expenses is critical. We've been talking about it. So let's look at some very practical tips in this current situation we are finding ourselves in the country. How do we manage our expenses? Number one, I have here, keep track of your spending habits. Remember, we've talked about budget. If you don't learn anything from these 3 series, please ensure you know how to budget. If you are a small or micro business owner, start budgeting. Don't spend money as they come. Money, we've talked about budgeting so much that I expect that everybody would have, fallen in love with budgets. So in your communication at home, in your organization, in your school, you should start talking about budget. You must have a budget for. If your income is 50K, have a budget for it, and you'll be shocked what you can achieve with that budget. Even if what you can achieve with having a budget on a very meager salary is the fact that the salary is too meager, the budget will open your eyes to the fact that you need to double or triple your income. So keep track of your spending habit. Number 2, review your monthly subscriptions. Hey, for people like us that have GoTV, people like us that have DSTV, these are monthly subscriptions. You have Netflix, all those things. Some of us don't even watch the Netflix, but on a monthly basis, Paystack will debit our card. They will charge our card. Whether you watch it or not, your DSTV will expire. You have to pay back. You have to subscribe. You need to watch all this. Do you need DSTV? Yes. If yes, okay, what package do you need? You need to look at it. That is one area, one fixed area that your money keeps going. Some people have started going for broadband, and they will say in the UK, everybody's on broadband. Just go online, watch any station you want to watch, any channel you want to watch. They are there online. So, and a lot of homes are already doing that in Nigeria now. And you watch our football online, free streaming. You watch Arise TV, Channels TV. All of them have YouTube channels where you can watch all these programs. So people are beginning to review their subscription. They are looking inward, analyzing every expense that they make, and they are asking questions: is this expense necessary or not? That is one way to manage your expenses. Save on utility costs. Save on utility costs. Look at costs that, for instance, your NEPA bills, many of us put on the AC throughout the day. We don't care because we want to maintain that status quo. And our energy bill in a month is clocking about 200K. Yeah, some of us earn so well. We say, okay, 200K is fine. It's not a big deal. Hey, it's a big deal. You are not living a life to impress others. So look at those utility costs and see which one you can reduce. Maybe you need to say, guys, you can't be using AC throughout the day any longer. AC can only be used between this time and this time. And when it rains, I don't think we need AC in the house. Let us save cost on utility. You understand? So we are looking at practical ways to manage your expenses. I have number 4, eat at home. Eat at home is cheaper. Restaurants are also going through. So for people that have restaurant business, I'm not demarketing you. So I'm just saying that in today's world, in today's economy, you find it cheaper to actually buy those expensive foodstuffs and cook them at home than to enter eatery to say you want to buy, because the eatery are also going to add all their inflationary costs on you. You must pay for it. You must pay for the diesel they are buying at 1,200. You must pay for everything. So what you can do that is smart is for you to cultivate the habit of eating at home. Shop with a list. Don't just go to a shop, and for a woman that will just go for shopping and they buy everything buyable, everything money can buy. So I think one way that you can really cut your expenses is by shopping with a list. Shopping with a list. Number 6, I have here, freeze your credit card. We're trying to say everything is not about borrowing. Everything is not about borrowing. Every small thing, don't borrow to fund your lifestyle. Don't borrow to fund your lifestyle. Freeze your credit card. Save on fuel. Any meeting that you can do from home, you don't need to waste fuel to visit physically for that meeting. Any party that you can join from home. So at times, where possible, instead of you going for parties, it's better for you to even send money to support the celebrants. And these are practical ways that you can reduce our expenses. I also have here, pay off your debt. Your debt will continue to accrue interest. A smart person will see how they can negotiate and pay off the debt, negotiate your interest, negotiate your penalty. Many of us have debts. We have online debts, and you don't care. See, you have to care. All those online debts are accruing interest expense on a daily basis. The day you will need a credit bureau report, you realize that your loan of 100,000 has become 1.2 million. Now, because you need a clean credit report, you will go and negotiate with that company for them to remove your name from credit bureau. And they will tell you, Oga, it's 1.2 million, go and pay 1 million. So don't wait for that day to happen. Go and settle your debt. That is the way so that interest expense will stop. I have number 9 here, adopt virtual where possible. I think I've mentioned that. Where possible, adopt virtual meetings. If you need to have a meeting and you don't need, it's not compulsory that you go, then let it be virtual. It saves you on cost. Number 10 is beautiful. Send cash gift instead of a physical attendance. There are some parties that we don't need to go. There are some parties that you don't need to go. And it's better that you just send a 20K that you should have used to buy fuel in your car. Send it to the celebrant. They will appreciate you more than even coming. The fact that you send money to them for their event will remain with them forever. That this guy supported me when I was doing burial, when I was doing wedding, when I was doing my birthday. He didn't come, but he sent some money to me. That will resonate more with the people. So these are 10 tips that you can use to manage your expenses and in today's very difficult economy we find ourselves. Any question on these 10 tips before we go to the next slide, or any contribution? Any question from any of those corners? From any of the corners, yeah. Any question, any contribution? Is there any of these 10 tips that you want to talk about? Is there anyone you're already doing? Can you share your experience?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You are speaking from where?
Yeah, I'm speaking from Lagos corner, American's corner, Lagos.
American
Center, Lagos. American Center, Lagos, yes.
American Center, Lagos. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so my question is, how do an unemployed someone prepare a budget?
All right. Thank you. That's a very a very cunning question. All right, but it's good. So it's cunning because for you to prepare a budget, you need 2 things. You need an income and you need an expenses. Am I right? So for you to successfully prepare a budget, an unemployed person must have income. No matter who you are, for you to survive, at least you are eating. The money must come from somewhere. You understand? So for you to prepare a budget successfully, you have what we call your income and what we call your expenses. So if you are unemployed, how do you want to have a budget? because you are living on others. You understand? So that is my response. For you to prepare a budget, you must have an income and you must have an expense. So the problem that the unemployed person is having is not budget. The problem that an unemployed person is having is to be employed. So we should not think too much for the unemployed person. The first thing the unemployed person is interested in is getting a job. Budget is not his priority at this point. All right, so as you know, the budget can only be prepared if there's an income and there are expenses. Budget is allocating your income along different expenses. So an unemployed person needs to be employed for him to have a budget that is really, really effective. All right, I think Oka raised up their hand. Bauchi also raised up their hand. So let me hear from Bauchi first. Bauchi. Yes, Bauchi, yes, thank you.
Our question here is, how can you keep track on your financial spending habits? Because sometimes we may have unbudgeted schedules that come to our ways that we must spend on them. So how can we keep track of that spending?
How can we keep track of what? I didn't hear that. How can we keep track of what?
Spending habits.
Your spending habits. Yes, okay, I got it. Thank you for that question. How can we keep a track of our spending habits? We need to it's all about budgeting. If you are in our first session, we talk about different budgeting style. And the first one we mentioned was the 50-30-20 rule. I believe many of us can remember 50-30-20 rule. That is a very crude way of budgeting. What does the 50-30-20 rule say? It says 50% of your income should go to your need. 30% of your income should go to your wants. And 20% of your income should go to your savings or investments. So if that is what you want to use, it can help you keep track of your spending. If you earn, for instance, for the sake of simplicity, 100,000 naira, the 50-30-20 budgeting rule says keep 50,000 naira for your need. What are your needs? Transportation, food, shelter, clothing. Those are your needs. Medication. 30% can go for your wants. What are your wants? You want subscription. You want to go and watch cinema. You want to travel. You want to go party. They are the wants. There are things you can do without. You understand? And the remaining 20% of your income should go to your investment and your savings. So how can you keep track of that your spending habit? Ensure that all your income are not put in the same account. Take 50% of it, put it in an account that you can use to be living your day-to-day life. So when you finish it on the 20, you know that you are not doing well. It is supposed to last you till 30th of the month. If it finishes on the 20, you know that, man, I need to adjust. That is one crude way of keeping your spending habits. Ensure that every income you make at the end of the month, a portion goes to savings. And try and be disciplined not to touch your savings except it is critically important. Don't see it as your money. See it as your money working for you. That is savings and investment, particularly your investment. So once you make your income, if it's 5% of your income that you can afford, throw it in an investment account that can be working for you and making money for you one way or the other. So tracking your spending habit is basically sticking to a budget. And the easiest budget we can have is the 50-30-20 rule. So it's coming back to budget, and budget. Ensure you develop the habit, the financial discipline to stick to your budget. All right, so Oka.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my friend.
Sir, I have a question. So is it possible to say when you're a student and your parents do send for you money on a monthly basis, and with the way things are going up, buying textbooks, paying departmental fees, peculiar dues,
Is it possible to say like and make a as a student that is not working?
All right. So, my brother, everything is possible. Everything is possible, and it depends on the situation. It depends on the condition. For a student that the money your parents are sending to you can barely be sufficient for you, saving might be difficult. I understand. And for such students, is for you to also look inward and say, how can I support my parents by making some side income? Many of us did business even while in school, and we still came out with very good grades. So doing business doesn't mean that, or doing side hustle as a student doesn't mean that your grades will be poor, really. You understand? So my advice is, it depends. It depends. I can't give you an answer, because I don't really know your situation. I don't know the income you're even talking about. Maybe the income cannot even last you for 10 days. How do you want to save from it? You understand? So it depends. So, but if you think that the income is not enough, you should also start thinking during holidays, what hustles, we call it hustle as students, what other things can I do that can improve my earning capacity while we are not in school, that when we are in school, I can augment, the money my parents are sending to me and still have some savings. So that is my advice for you as a student. All right, so Benin City, thank you, Oka.
One more question, sir.
From Oka, right?
Good afternoon, sir.
All right, good afternoon. Quickly, so I can go to Benin.
Okay, I just want to make a quick contribution on something. Can I go for that?
Go ahead.
Okay. Somebody said you're a bad budget. So something struck into me that before we talk about expenses, we should also talk about asset and liabilities. So
Okay.
I came to understand that because I've read other books about this income statement. Because every family, and I noticed that every family has what called income statement. That income statement comprises of the income and the balance sheet of the family. The income statement stated that has the income and the expenses, while the balance sheet has the asset and the liabilities. So when a man is paid the salary, most of the money, as an average man, his money is being close to as an income. From the income, you enter the expense and goes out. So the man doesn't have anywhere to save to his assets. So most of some authors I read on the book advising us that if you want to start as a family, we should be able to build our assets column. Because they say that once you have money working for you, because you said something about I can get your money working for you. Once you put your money on your assets column, then you have money generating for you. Like an example now, somebody cannot know how to do business, but he has the idea of a partnership. He can do venture capital with somebody else who can actually give him return of his money 50% out of every month, or lower than 50% or 20%, depending on how much the person contribute to the business. So I feel that even as a student, sometimes we should have be creative, because being an entrepreneur is not where only being into trying to work for something, but to be able to be problem solver. Because I feel that there are a lot of opportunities in this world you are seeing. For example, now you can see everybody has WhatsApp. You can check on your WhatsApp. You see some people who are posting products, trying to advertise their products to you, trying to see some aggressive entrepreneurs on your line. So I can understand that if you can venture capital with them, you see somebody who is good, you notice that this person is every day is consistent posting, and you notice that the moment he's even posting, whoever liking the product, you show that this person has something that he's doing that you are very like you want to get attracted. So as a student, I feel that that's more money your parents giving you. You can actually partner with that person, just like a student to student. Even you are not the one actually like going to the business with you, but because of you are the one contributing to that business, you can be getting return every month, depending on money you put into the business with you. Even like for example now, somebody puts 30,000 into that business, selling of clothes or selling of shoes. Every month you can get up like 10,000 or every month you can get up 5,000 or 8,000 within that range. But that means you can help to source other things within a month or within like 5 months. I'll get extra money for yourself. From that, if you contact from the profit, you can venture other people's business, and you can from there be getting more money. So I feel that being an entrepreneur, you know how to see those slight opportunities that can help you in your growth. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for the entrepreneurial aspect. The initiative is very good, and so it's spot on, and that is what entrepreneurship is all about. It's about, providing solution to problems and creating wealth from it. Thank you for that very good contribution. Okay, so I have two hands up. I have Benin City, I have Meduguri. All right, so Benin City, can you go for it? Contribution, questions, anyone? Benin City.
One more question from Oka.
Hello?
Benin City, yes.
Okay, fine. The question that was earlier asked you about can an unemployed person have a budget?
Have a budget, yes.
It seems your response or your answer is unfair. I think it's partly maybe your myopic point of view. There are different ways to describe an unemployed person. One who is underemployed is unemployed. Underemployed. One who is in some other climes, we have this provision, though not here in this country, unemployment allowance given to people like that. And those into side hustle or whatever you call it, they are also unemployed. By and large, you describe themselves as unemployed. But the point here is that even those living on what I would call financial support from families and friends, they are unemployed and they are fortunate to have families and friends who are supporting them. As long as you have living expenses, you can still have your budget. The difference is that what you should say that yes, he or she needs to look for a job, and that is a problem. Even for those who are employed, it's not just even looking for a job to increase their income. So it's the same thing. What matters, I think you should see, is that you should focus that
Hello, Benin.
that's what matters. Yes, it's unstable. And then somehow they should try to manage within circumstances. So they can have an average of what they do they get averagely. So they do budget, but it's not like what you may expect for those who are employed in that sense. Even so, for now, with the spiraling inflation and everything, it can even disturb your plan. Forget about your budget plan. We are not talking of 5% or 10% inflation. We are talking of 20, 30, or even 50% inflation. So let's just be realistic with when the definition of unemployed person varies from how it is described from point to point. That's what I want.
All right, thank you for your contribution, Beni, and you've also come back to my point that an unemployed person might not be able to have a budget he can stick to because he's relying on family and friends. So when you have a budget is a breakdown of your income and your expenses. And so there's no budget if there's no income. So your budget starts from income. So for you to have a budget, it means you have a regular source, you have a source of income that you can plan with. A budget is how you want your money to be spent over a period of time. And my response to an unemployed having a budget is the primary objective of an unemployed person is to be employed. Yes, I know anybody can have a budget, but it's not everybody that can stick to that budget. For you to be able to stick to that budget, you must have control on one thing, and that is what? Your income. You have control. I'm earning 200K in a month. Okay, this is how I'm going to spend the 200K. Your budget doesn't start from your expenses. You don't come up with your expenses and say, I'm looking for how income will cover these expenses. No, that is not a budget. A budget starts from income and break down how your income will go. And so my response was just being practical. It's not about being fair or not. I'm just being real. I'm not a motivational speaker. I teach what I do. So what I'm saying is that the most important thing for an unemployed person is as you said, is to have income so that it can plan on its income. So budget is a plan on your income. So if you don't have an income that is steady, planning will be difficult. So that is the point I'm making. I'm not talking down. At some point, we are all unemployed, all of us. You understand? Because you have to be unemployed before you became employed, one way or the other. All right, so that's it. But your thoughts were taken. All right, Meduguri. Meduguri.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon, my friend.
Sir. Thank you for your contribution, sir. So my questions go like this. This it at home. So when someone is working maybe from morning to evening, and how is this it at home will be helpful for him? And for like students, when you're having lectures from morning to 4, how will this it at home will be? You can apply this.
How will this what? How will this what?
How would this it at home will be applicable for you as a student? Maybe you are having lectures in the morning till 4. So this it at home, how can you manage it? That is what I want to know, sir.
You know, I'm not a chef. Okay, so I'm saying where possible, you understand. These are an art. Get my point and get the thinking behind this. These are ways that we can reduce our expenses. So when I say eat at home, I'm looking at ways for you to, because if you eat in a buka or what we call buka in school, it's going to be more expensive than eating from home. So if you need to eat before you leave for school, all well and good. Or if you know it's practically not possible for you to eat at home, maybe because your lecture starts early, then you need to look at how to cut your expenses by eating outside. So all these things are also, let me warn us, is an art. There is no one good way of managing your finances. So what we've been talking about is to open our mind to what we can do to stay afloat in this very, what we call it, VUCA economy. You understand? Volatile, uncertain, ambiguous economy. You understand? So all these points we are coming up here are just ideas, are just suggestions. It doesn't mean that they are cast in stone. It doesn't mean that you must not eat outside. It's not possible. No. But as much as possible, when you have the chance to eat at home, you are going to save a lot of cost than eating outside. For instance, in Lagos today, if you want to go and eat in a restaurant, you should be holding like 3K, 5K to eat comfortably in a restaurant. But you can still cook at home for 2,000, no matter how bad the economy is today. So that is the point we are making. All right, so thank you for that contribution. Now I have Calabar and Port Harcourt. I'm also watching my time. I might need to pen your questions. I only have 1 hour. So Calabar and Port Harcourt, you are next, but let's go to the next slide, please. All right, now we've talked about budgets for so long, and we'll keep talking about it. Create a budget and stick to it. Many of us create a budget, but by this 10th day of the month, we've forgotten the budget. So let's create a budget that can help you stay on track with your expenses and avoid overspending. So the problem with not having a budget is that there's high likelihood of you to spend anyhow. You spend to impress people, you spend on impulse. The money we earn now is so meager that we cannot afford not to plan with it. So by setting limit on your spending and prioritizing your expenses, you can ensure you are not wasting your salary on unnecessary purchases. You are not wasting your income on unnecessary purchases. So that is what we are saying about creating a budget. If you are a student, I can see that many of us are students. You know the income. You can actually have a budget as a student. You know the income you are earning on a monthly basis. You know the money your parents are sending to you on a monthly basis. You must plan your expenses with that income. Remember I said you cannot have a budget if you don't have an income. You understand? So if you know this is the money my parents send to me monthly, you must plan your expenses or come up with ways to expand your income stream legitimately, not through Yahoo. not through legitimately. How can you increase your income so that it can match your expenses? Now, to create a budget, start by tracking your expenses for a month or two and identify where you can cut back. What budget will also help you do is to help you cut unnecessary spending. If you have, it's like for people that run businesses, the greatest mistake you can do to your small business is not to track your income and expenses. As a small business, on a monthly basis, you must know what your total revenue is, what your total expenses is, what your gross profit is, what your net profit is. That is how you know whether you are making progress as a business or not. So the same way we are talking about personal finance, it also applies to business. So you must keep a track. So you know when you are doing well. When, man, I'm not doing well, the income is not much, the expenses is growing. What do I do? Do I cut the expenses? Or do I increase price or add additional products, or do go into partnership, as my friend in Oka explained, go into partnership with other people that can increase my sales. So to create a budget, track your expenses. Look at the expenses you can do without. Is very important. Dangerous moments require dangerous measure. In Nigeria today, because of the galloping inflation, as the man in Benin said, it's about 30% officially, but unofficially, I'm telling you, we are more than 50% unofficially. So we cannot continue to spend and live our life the way we were before this inflation got to this point. So that is what a budget will help us to achieve. Try to have a budget. You don't need to go for a trade. You don't need to be an accountant before you can have a budget. You can do your budget on a plain sheet of paper. You can have your budget on Excel. Many of us have computers to use Excel. Just list where your expenses will likely go to. One thing you know is that you have control over your income, or you don't have control over your expenses. So your budget will help you have control over your expenses. Budget is very critical. You understand? And we must all stick to budget. Okay, so let's go to investments. Let's go to investment. We've talked about expenses. We've talked about having a budget. Let's talk about investment. Invest in assets that appreciate in value over time. Investment is very critical. One way to create your wealth is to make your wealth work for you. You see some guys that will make money and they start looking at how to buy land. Why? Because they know that property will always appreciate. You understand? If you don't have enough money to buy land, there are other investments you can actually go to. There are safe investments like treasury bills, like stock, equity. You have 50K, 100K. You can go and buy stock from the stock exchange. I have a stockbroker that will advise you. And if you say, okay, I want to be buying 50K worth of stock on a monthly basis, yes, it is very possible. And it's an investment. Is your money working for you? To protect your salary from the effect of inflation, investing in assets that appreciate in value over time, such as stock, real estate, and other income-generating investment is essential. Investing in stock, bond, mutual fund, all these are investment instruments, are effective way of shielding your income from inflation. Now, many of us would rather save money. Saving money, we differentiated between savings and investment in the last class. And we said savings is just, you're not taking a lot of risk when you're saving your money. You are expecting a very consistent return in savings. But in investment, you are taking risk. Your investment can double in the next 2 weeks. Your investment can become zero in the next 2 weeks. That is the difference between savings and investment. So when you are making an investment, because you know that your investment has an element of risk, you must calculate the risk before you invest into it. Betting is not an investment. Betting is gambling. It's not an investment. Some of us will say, we do crypto. I'm not condemning crypto. But you know, crypto, yeah, it's an investment, but you know, it's very volatile. The risk in crypto trading is very high. The return is very good as well. You understand? So you need to have what we call your risk appetite. What is the level of risk you want to take on your investment? If you are the type that don't like taking unnecessary risk, then you want to put your money in real estate, that you know that over time it will appreciate. You want to put your money in Nigerian treasury bill, that you know that within 91 days, your money will be, your principal will be paid back to you after you've collected your interest upfront. So your investment are supposed to appreciate over time, unlike your savings that are just there for like an emergency fund. So in choosing an instrument to invest in, seek the counsel of financial experts. Talk to people that know about investments and let them advise you. Last week I said MMM is not an investment. The unfortunate thing is that there are still a lot of MMM, people that will say, bring your 10K and in the next 2 weeks you collect 25K. If you do it, you are not different from somebody that is gambling. You are gambling with your money. That is not an investment. Investment takes time before they grow. You understand? If you buy a Nigerian brewery shares today, you need to wait for a period of time before it appreciates or before they pay dividend and you get return on your investments. Okay, so the last point I have here is that it is essential to note that investment carries a risk, and you should always research and consult with financial advisors before making any investment decision. It is very important for you. If you want to go into real estate, there are some realtors that they are experts in real estate. They will advise you on the kind of property to invest in that will appreciate over time. If you want to put your money in money market instrument, there are people that are very experienced in that area that should be able to advise you. But let us ensure that we are investment minded, and people that run businesses is an investment. Your business is actually an investment, but because your business is making profit and the value of your business is increasing. Your business that you started 5 years ago can become so big that people are buying 10% of your shares at 100 million naira. Yes, it depends. So you can see at that point that, yeah, your business is actually an investment. So if your business is well managed and is growing in terms of balance sheet, investors that are coming to buy into that business will buy it at a premium. At that point, you are making money from that investment, your investment in that business. So business as well is actually an investment. All right. Okay, so I've done some research work here, and I've said we are young people, and one thing about young people is that you want quick solution. So there are some apps that are actually for savings and investment. I have here PiggyVest, some popular ones that we all know, PiggyVest, Cowrywise. PiggyVest is the first online savings and investment app in West Africa, offering customers direct investment opportunity as well as savings. With PiggyVest, you can save as low as 15 naira, and there is no maximum amount. So you can go online, go to Play Store, and download some of these investments. Even when you are in Maiduguri, you are in Benin City, your investment can be on your phone, and you can determine that, hey, from every income I make on a monthly basis, you want to put some money into that account. I have here Cowrywise, I have here Petty Save, I also have Afri Invest, Crowdvest, Bamboo. Bamboo is popular. It bridges the gap between Nigeria and American stock market. So you can be in Nigeria today and buy stock in the US Stock Exchange, offering Nigerian access to over 3,000 stocks from America and Nigerian markets. So these are apps that you can go to Play Store now and download. And with your 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira, you can start saving and investing. So I recommend strongly PiggyVest. They've been around for so long. So there are apps that you can download as we are having this class, and you can start making some savings. I don't work for them. I don't have investments with them. I'm just, talking based on the experiences people have had with them. Okay. All right. So we have Trove. Trove is an app, is an intuitive app that allows Nigeria to invest in foreign companies. It gives Nigeria access to investment opportunities in America, China, and Nigeria. So what I'm trying to do here is to tell us that investment is not so difficult. When we do this teaching, people think that, you have to be a financial guru, you have to be an accountant before you understand investment. No, not really. We have so many accountants that are just, clerical accountants. They don't really know anything about investments. So, but things have been simplified on your phone. There are so many investment apps that can actually help you invest and manage your investments. All right, so let me ask a question to the class. Which class of investment are you holding or planning to hold at this period? which class of investment do you have? This is to everybody. Is anyone among us investing? And can you share which area of investment you focus on? Okay, anyone to try? Which class of investment are you holding or planning to hold? Where do you focus? As I said, everybody needs to be investing. Like me, I do a lot of, I focus so much on business. I have different businesses that keep giving dividends. You know, I also have some savings that every time some money must go to that account. So these are things I do even at my level. So we must keep investing. I have some stock that you know that, okay, every time you put some money here, the stock keep appreciating until maybe a few years when you might need to, you know, sell off the stock. So all these are investments. So I would like us to share your own investment strategy for the benefit of everybody. And there is no, we are not too young to start investing. As I've told us, there are apps that can even take your investment as low as 15 naira, your savings as low as 15 naira, your investment as low as 100K, 50K. You're already investing, you're already buying stock. So don't always think that you must be a billionaire or multimillionaire for you to buy stocks. No, you can have your 100,000 naira and buy some unit of Nigerian brewery stock very well. All right, so I think I have Amina. Yes, raising up hand. Yes. W.O. Amina. Do you want to share?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
I did some small investment. My name is from Window in America, Mina. Though I did some investment in some stock, using Trove, but I think some of the investment I've done since it was during the crypto boom. What I invested was on the metals, MTR. So those ones have gone down, but I'm still trying to work on those apps like PiggyVest that you just talked about. So to look how viable that one is going to be, and even if it's a token, at least just to keep it going. But still, despite when you invest, there are risks involved. But I'm still hanging on to crypto anyway, though the risk is high. So we invest on whatever we lose. It's something that can be manageable. That's one of the things I'm looking into invest.
All right, thank you, Amina. Yeah, thank you from that corner. Yeah, so she just nail it as in is using apps to do his investment. And I like what you said. You chose to invest in crypto, haven't realized and understood the fact that the risk is very high. So the risk in crypto is high, but you're a young man. If your risk appetite matches the risk in crypto, all well and good. So what I would also advise is you learn from your mistakes. So when you start investment, you get your fingers burnt in one way or the other, but based on the learning from that investment, we have lost money. And one thing about investment is that you likely lose some money. It's normal. So don't feel bad when you lose some money. Pick up experiences from that mistake and use it for your future decision making in the area of your financial management. All right, any other contribution? I can see Mediguri raising up their hand. I can see Oka raising up their hands. So who wants to go first? Mediguri.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Mediguri, yeah.
Yes, from Mediguri. I use some of this app for investment, and basically what I use it for example, I use one for my house rent. I will log the account and invest in it. I know how much is my annual rent, and every month actually I remit certain amount of money into the account until the 12th or the 11th or the 12th month before I withdraw the money and pay my house rent, like stress-free. So actually investing in some of these applications actually very, very important. It's very, very helpful. And I did it, and I was advised people actually to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for making it, driving home the points. So for us that have not started investing and savings, you can hear our friend advising us. Now it's coming from our colleague saying that he uses some of these apps and he's been using it to save up for rent, for investment. And I want to encourage us, to also try to do that. The good thing about it is that those apps, once you take the money, there are some penalties if you want to pre-liquidate. So you just see that money that's left your system, unlike putting your money in a bank account that you are free to withdraw at any time. So those apps will help you to save. They will help you to build an investment bucket. And that is the importance of that app, of those apps. Thank you so much from Medjugorje. Now, Oka, quickly, Oka.
Okay, yeah. So, being a student, I think a couple of months back, I had some issues paying bills and all that. So, I started investing in some shops around my area. Basically, what I did was
shops, right? Okay. Shops.
Yeah, some shops, local shops around. So what I did was like buy some goods I knew they usually sell from the suppliers directly, then give to them then at my own rate anyway. Then once they finish selling it up, I get my own pay from there. Then also on Binance, I started taking some currencies there. That I think they went up recently anyway. I think Sol and was it BTC? Yeah, when it went down, I staked it as well. So, but what I wanted to ask again was something you mentioned about. I'm not sure the name again, but he said basically you pay for your investment, then after 90 days or so, you get paid back your capital. Dividend, sorry.
Okay, so I was talking about treasury bills. Yes. Nigerian treasury bills. Treasury bill is the way the central bank controls inflation. So it's one of the instruments that central bank uses to manage money supply in the economy. You understand? So they issue treasury bills. It's like saying that they want to borrow from you. You understand? And that kind of instrument is called a discounted instrument. It's discounted because you collect your interest upfront. You want to invest 100,000 and they say it's 14% per annum, and you want to do 90 days, it will be 14% divided by 4 because 90 days is a quarter. So they will pay you the interest upfront. And at the end of 90 days, they will pay you your principal. You understand? So that is treasury bill. So you can ask financial people, your banker, ask that you want to invest in treasury bill. Is in textbook, is called the safest type of savings in a country. The reason why it is the safest is because it is the federal government that is owing you. And by design, a federal government is not supposed to default on payments. You understand? So treasury bill is like an instrument issued by the government for individuals, for citizens to invest and make a return. And the return on those kind of bills are called a discounted. They are called those kind of bills are called discounted bills, discounted instrument, meaning that you collect your interest upfront, and after the duration, you collect your principal back. So for better clarity and better understanding, talk to your banker. You understand? So, all right. I hope it's clear. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So, do we have about Port Harcourt? They've been raising up their hands. Calabar, Port Harcourt. Okay, Port Harcourt is on.
Very good afternoon to you,
Port Harcourt.
everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Yes, please.
All right, thank you so much for your insightful presentation.
Thank you.
I basically want to ask a question around where you talked about tips. Gave it about 10 tips. Maybe mine is not coming from specifically any of the tips per se, but I want you to clear the air on this. Now, a lot of persons would say because they want to save, they want to, they do not have money, or they are just being a budget so to say. And so quality, when they can actually afford that, they would rather, okay, for instance, I have the money to get a pair of shoes for 30,000 naira. And I know that for that, quality I'm going for, I'm not going to wear that shoe, that pair of shoes for just 6 months and it's worn out, it's gone, all of that. I'm buying it that 30,000 naira because I know that it's going to serve me for a good number of years, so to say. So would you say that instead of, because I'm trying to save, I'm trying to save as somebody, I'm trying to manage my finance, would you say that I am not being a good financial manager? Why not go for 15,000 naira? Why not go for 10,000 naira in that case? And also, let's use the instance of some person that just want to get, instead of you getting data subscription for 6,000 naira, for instance, that would last you for 30 days, you would rather go for 500 naira 2 days and it's gone, or a day and it's gone. The next day you go 5,000 naira, 500 naira, and the next day like that. Before you know, you end up spending even more than 30,000 naira within 1 week or 2 weeks, when you could actually spend 6,000 naira and then relax for 30 days or so. How would you marry instances like this as somebody who wants to to be seen as a financial manager, as a good financial manager? Don't best to chase my. Thank you.
I like the fact that we're actually interested in becoming masters of our finances. I like that question, but you've also answered your question, my friend in Port Harcourt. We cannot be penny wise and pounds foolish. So part of your decision to be financially literate and disciplined is also to take the right decision. Remember, in our first session, we talked about financial literacy and we said it boils down to decision making. It boils down to decision making. You've painted two scenarios. You want to buy a shoe. The shoe costs, let's say, 70K, but it will last you for the next 3, 4, 5 years. It's real original that you don't have to spend money on another pair of shoe in the next few years. Or you want to buy an inferior shoe that you know that in the next 3, 4 months, you have to go and buy another one. So buying the inferior shoe will make you penny wise, pounds foolish, as to buying the original. And so for me, as a financial person, is to give us the third option. Can I buy Tokumbo? For me, depending on my class or my status, if I'm a student, I can see the original that costs 70K, the I don't want to say about made, that costs 25K. If I buy the very poor quality, in the next 3 months, I have to buy another one. Then let me look for a Tokumbo that is 40K, that will still serve me instead of 4 years now, maybe 3 years, but leave another 30K in my account for savings until I get to a point where, okay, my status cannot wear Tokumbo. I have the capacity that a shoe of 70K, 100K is not really a pain or a pain on my finances. You understand? So it's decision making. There's no correct or wrong answer when it comes to financial management. It depends on the situation at hand, and based on your inferences, based on the facts of that situation, then you take the right decision. But most important thing is, you are not buying that shoe to impress. You are not buying that shoe to say, man, I've arrived, I'm a big boy. No, you are buying the shoe for utility. That I'm buying this expensive shoe because it will serve me for the next 4 years and I don't have to keep buying shoes every 6 months. The same thing applies to your analysis on that data. Why do you want to buy data of 500 naira? And I see a lot of people do that, young people particularly, and they'll buy that data for 500 naira within 1 or 2 days. And the telcos are so smart that they allow you to buy those cheap data that they'll say it can only last for 1 day. Buy 200 MB for 200 naira. And before you do WhatsApp, download an image on WhatsApp, they'll tell you 50 MB remaining. So you are actually penny wise and pounds foolish. So as I said, it depends. So the reason why we're having this lecture is for you not to be spoon-fed, but for you to have an open mind to financial decisions financial decision making, for you to also understand and analyze the decision you want to make and be sure that you are taking the right decision. Thank you, my friend in Port Harcourt. So I want to take Calabar, then we go to a class discussion about debt. Calabar, do you have any other thing to say, or have we addressed your concern in the course of our discussion? Calabar? All right, so Calabar, have we addressed your concern? All right, so while we are waiting for Calabar, I want us to have a short debate. Calabar, okay, you are here for us. Can you quickly ask your questions or make your contribution? Or can we go ahead? Okay, Calabar is muted. All right. I have on my screen, is a personal loan a good or a bad idea? Is taking a loan a good or a bad idea? We discussed this in our first on our day one. We discussed it on our day two, and day three. I want to have your opinion. Is taking a loan a good or a bad idea? Yes, contributions, please, from any of those spaces of the spaces of the corners.
Hello, sir.
Is taking a loan a good or a bad idea? I can see Bauchi, I can see American. So Bauchi, you can go. I can see Oka too. Let's have a debate. Let me tell you something. There is no correct answer. There is no wrong answer. As in business school, they will tell you it depends. It depends on the situation that will determine whether your decision is right or wrong. All right, so Bauchi, you can go for it. Is personal loan a good or a bad idea? Bauchi.
It depends on the reason for you collecting the loan. Some people collect the loan for like just entertainment, something else that is not necessary. Some people collect loan for investment, which in turn, as in terms of money. So it depends on why you collect the loan. If it's for a good reason, it's a good idea. If it's for a bad reason, it's a bad idea.
All right, thank you. Madam said, my sister said, if it's for a good reason, it's a good idea. If it's for a bad reason, it's a bad idea. So it's left for us to determine what is a good reason and what is a bad reason. All right, thank you for that contribution. Let me go to Oka. Oka, my people today. Oka, somebody raise up their hand in Oka.
Hello, sir.
Yes. A personal loan a good or a bad idea? Discuss.
Concerning this question now, I would say before someone takes a loan, first of all, you should have planned out or mapped out what you are supposed to do with the loan. So I will think that you made an explanation some time ago. You said when you get your income, you go to the need, 30% to the wants, and the 20%. In the case of a loan, you should have planned out.
I can't see.
I would advise that you have a loan, you should not venture into business or an investment with high risk. I don't know if you understand me. You should not venture into a big business or somebody. You made mention of cryptocurrency earlier, and you mentioned too much risk in it. Already, the betting platforms that we have today is not an option at all. Because betting is not investing. You are just wasting your money and wasting time. You mentioned cryptocurrency and you mentioned MMM and other things. When you borrow the money or when you take a loan, you should not use the money for things that have high risk, for investment that have high risk. And please, I would want to ask a question based on your previous statement or something. You said you made mention of something like create a budget and stick to it. Please, I want to say, how do you stick to a budget when the price of things are not static? You know, we are living in a country whereby price of things are dynamic. Today, this price of this thing, 3,000. You come back the next 6 months, or even the next 1 month, and you see that it's at 30,000 or something like that. So if you are saying you should stick the budget, or for instance, a family that plans to buy a bag of rice every 3 months, and if you notice something, the price are increasing, your income is not increasing that way. Your income is not increasing. So how do you stick to that same budget when the price of things are fluctuating? Country like for the finance. So I want to answer to that.
Reduce the debts, we don't eat right. Like me. So I have some things now.
Jesus. But how can you create a budget and stick to it in this very volatile price regime? Yes, let me open the floor. I want to hear from somebody else. So my friend from Oka said, how can we create a budget and stick to it in this period of very volatile prices? Who can do justice to that? Calabar, Port Harcourt, is there anyone that wants to answer that from your experience? If you want to answer that question, you can unmute yourself and let's hear your opinion.
I want to answer the question.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with Ikeja people. I'm not seeing Ikeja. I'm not seeing contribution from Ikeja. Ikeja, please, I need contributions from you. All right.
So, if the price of things are like, for example, like normally you give back price. I feel like you reduce the quantity of what you are buying. Like a bit of too expensive. So if you like now you tend to buy something of, imagine you are buying normally you buy something like 5 bags of rice. So the income is increasing and your income capital that demand. But you notice that within the economic sheet that your income was not able to meet the price of those things. So you tend to reduce it because your family are feeding, you're not feeding the community. So for one that can reach your family at the point in time, they will attend to that. That was I feel that that's that.
All right. I didn't really hear what you said. Okay, so but thank you for that contribution. Do you have somebody else to contribute to that? How can you stick to a budget in this volatile price economy or price regime? Meduguri, you want to go for it? American Space, yeah, you have the floor. American Space is you have the floor.
Yeah, no, what I'm actually sticking to the personal loan idea.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead, sir.
The man from Oka was actually diverting us from the point. But what I want to say.
Yes, it's okay. It's a class session, so we can talk about as much as possible.
Okay, sir. There's a common saying that money is not good and money is not bad. It depends on in whose hand it enters. So money is neutral. In the same way, I would say that personal loan is not a good, neither a bad idea. It all depends on the concept of the personal loan. For example, I know of a man that went to take a loan of 1 million naira in order to make a donation in the church. A man went to take a loan of 1 million naira in order to make a donation in the church. And at the point he couldn't pay up the loan. Then the banks came after him. He ran back to his senior pastor and said, Daddy, please, the bank are on my neck. Please, is there a way you can help, even if it's 500K, just assist, let me be able to come out of this shit. And the pastor said, well, wait till you give God, now you want to collect back. That is not possible. That would you go to a shrine and drop something and go to ask for a refund? So at that point, that was a foolish loan. And the man he sold his car, he was running a skater in order to pay back a loan he took from the bank in order to make a donation. At a point, a quarrel came up and then the man angrily left that church and moved to another church, So a loan is not a bad idea. Like you told us initially in the previous class that it is not a crime to take a loan, but that according to your instruction, that we should make sure that the loan we are taking are for valuable purposes, and there should be a time frame for refund of the loan.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are very specific, and I like your contribution. Okay, so let me tell us a story to drive this home. I started Credit Pro, that's my business, in 2019. And we started that business with a 17 million naira loan. I've said these stories at different fora. 17 million naira loan from my friend that is based in the UK. So he got the funds in the UK because he trusted me so much. I said, Shola, hey, what can you use this money for? I was running a factory that produces a packaging factory, sometimes that is still running as I speak. I told you I have a number of businesses I invested in. So I felt, okay, should I put this money in this business or should I diversify? And after some analysis, that 17 million naira became our starting capital, Credit Pro. So 17 million was all that we had. It was a 5-year loan. I was paying on a monthly basis, and the last payment was made in December 2023. We paid back. We paid back the 17 million plus interest. Interest was almost double or more than double. But we paid back, and we now have a business that is more than 500 million in balance sheet size. That is using debt for the right purpose. We are going to, Robert Kiyosaki said in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talked about using other people's time, using other people's money to make wealth. So when you collect debt from a bank, from a friend, from financial institutions, you are supposed to use that debt to improve your net worth. You are supposed to use that debt to improve your net worth. For instance, if you're a business owner, it is at times cheaper for you to borrow money than to call for equity investment, that people putting money into your business to become shareholder. Because if you borrow money and your business is profitable, what you simply do is to pay the interest on the money, and after you have finished paying the principal and the interest, you have used that money to expand your business. The business becomes yours. You are going to have control. But if you go and say, no, I don't want to borrow, let me bring more people, investors. Investors are going to share control with you. And when your business keeps expanding, you are going to keep paying them for the rest of your life until they are no longer in your business as investors. So according to the Meduguri lady that said, it depends. If you use the loan for a good purpose, it is good. If you use the loan for a bad purpose, it is bad. So collecting a loan or not collecting a loan, again, it depends. It depends whether you want to use it for good purpose, you want to use it for bad purpose. So it's now your conscience to know whether using a loan to do your wedding or using a loan to go to Dubai on holiday is a good purpose or is a bad purpose. It's left to you and your conscience. So the answer to this question is that it depends. It depends on whether you are using it for a good purpose or for bad purpose. Thank you so much for this class discussion. So I want to quickly address my brother in Oka that asked a question about how can we have a budget and stick to it in this very volatile price regime? I understand, but there is no quick answer to it. Let's be very frank. But off my head, I will tell you, you need to cut down on your wants. Remember, in our class 1, we talk about the three form of budgets. And the first one we discussed was your need, your want, your budget that is focused on 50-30-20 rule, that is focusing on putting 50% of your budget on your need, 30% on your want. Hey, if I were you, I would remove that want completely because even my budget cannot cover my need. Instead of looking at reducing my savings, 20% for my savings and investment, I would rather remove the wants. I would need to look at my expenses and critically look at the one I can do without. Which of these expenses are completely irrelevant? Do I still need to go to bar to watch Premiership on a weekend and buy 2 bottles of trophy? Exactly. That is a want. I can survive without drinking that trophy. So in this situation, it is survival first. If cost of things are going up at a very abnormal rate, it is time for us to cut down on the expenses, cut down on the designer shoes, cut down on the designer shirts, cut down on the cinema that I'm visiting to show to you know the club that I visit with my peers. Boys are entering club. Let us go. Let us enjoy life. You can't keep showing off. You cannot allow peer pressure to determine how you spend your money. So off my head, I'll tell you, look at those expenses, the food you eat, you cannot do without it. The accommodation, you must pay your rent. Otherwise, if I was your landlord, I would chase you out. Your NEPA bill, you must pay. But there are some expenses that are not very so important that you can maybe postpone or avoid completely. So that is the only way we can adapt in this VUCA economy, in this very volatile, uncertain, and ambiguous economy. So that is my response for you. Look at your expenses. Look at the expenses that are not necessary, that you can completely cut off. And with that, you can free more money to manage your needs, and you are still fine. As much as possible, if you are working, ensure you have some money that are dedicated to savings and investment. It is very critical. Ensure you have some money dedicated to savings and investment. I've said that and I'm emphasizing it because I'm talking from experience. It's good for you so that, they say you save for rainy days. If you don't have any money, like my Maiduguri friend that said he uses some of the app to save for his rent. He uses some of the apps to save for his rent. So it's just for you to have a saving culture, All right. We are rounding up. I think I have 30 minutes to go. Okay. Is there any question?
Yeah, a contribution from Calabar.
Hello? From where?
Calabar. We have questions on the chat.
Okay. Oh, okay. So Calabar, you can go ahead. Okay, I can see questions. Sorry. Okay, Calabar, you can go ahead. Ask your question while I look at the questions in the chat.
Okay, it's not basically a question, it's our own response and our line of thought regarding the question that was asked, particularly how to balance one's budget with a very volatile economy, right? My take very simply is that, first and foremost, if I want to ask, will I say, a rejoinder to that question, for example, even if the needs that you already have, or even if you try to possibly cut down on your various wants, and then you realize that what is also is actually still existing in your budget, it is also important at that point that you also try to be volatile even in this economy. For example, let us say that you are earning a stipend of, let's say, 50,000 naira, and you realize that your basic wants, very basic wants are still hitting 50,000 naira. I will not say at that point that you have to push aside some of your wants. At that point, it's always important that you also try to increase your income at this point. So I also feel that even if to a large extent you think that you have to reduce your wants, some of those wants are really, really important. So if this economy is trying to be volatile, from your end, also try to also increase your wants. Like it's often said, that if the birds have learned to fly without perching, we as hunters, we need to learn how to shoot without stopping, right? So that's how I feel that we can also adapt in this economy. And then I want to also take us a little bit back to the personal loan kind of issue. I think I love the take of the last person that spoke before you, sir. And he pointed out that money or loans generally, money is not good, money is not bad. Personal loan is not good, personal loan is not bad. To the extent that it is the intention that matters most time. So whenever you have having a personal loan and then the intention is not or the intention that you're going to go get a personal loan is not in tandem to why you're getting the loan, then I feel that you are not supposed to get a loan. So that's my take on the personal loan, and also that's on the budget. I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you for that beautiful contribution. Thank you so much. Yeah, so Any other contribution?
Okay.
So I have from the chart, Uyo window from Uyo. Good afternoon. If you earn 100K and you use the 50-30-20 budget system, what happens when an unforeseen event higher than your monthly comes up? Yes, so you earn 100,000 and you use the 50-30-20 budget system. So when you have an emergency, okay, meaning that you have saved 20% and emergency that is even higher than your monthly income comes up, then what do? Number one, off my head, how much do you have in savings? You didn't just start saving today. How much do you have in investment or savings that you can pull out to save the emergency? Remember what we said the last time, that emergency fund is actually like a savings you have somewhere, that whenever there's an emergency, you can easily pull out the savings. So the first thing is for you to look at your savings and see how you can, pull money from the savings to solve the problem. The second thing is, hey, if there's no way out, then that is when borrowing becomes essential, meaning that I need to borrow to solve this problem, but I have a plan to pay the borrowed funds. You understand? If I have, okay, I need a 200K additional, then there is a need for me to borrow. I have a borrowing that you can pay back within 6 months. In that case, borrowing is not a bad thing. Even though that borrowing might not improve your net worth, it might help you, it might save you from a pending disgrace. It might save you from a pending problem that become bigger than you, if not properly solved. You understand? So life is not cast in stone. Things happen. But most important, so that you can avoid a situation like this, start having a saving culture today. Because let me tell you something, this situation you have painted will likely happen. So the advice is, if you're a small business owner, have funds. Your working capital is like a reserve that you keep using to turn around your business. Don't be too much in a hurry to go and buy property. As a business owner, don't be too much in a hurry to go and start a new business and diversify or divert your working capital or your savings into other areas that will not start affecting the business. The same thing applies to for employees. Let us cultivate the habit of saving something on a monthly basis. That savings should also be earning income in terms of interest income on a monthly basis. So that savings is for emergency. Something happens that you don't have, your monthly income cannot cover, you simply go into savings that you have had over the years to quickly solve. And another thing about savings is that there are opportunities that will come your way that your monthly income cannot cover. You know that, I can buy this car, 1 million, and sell it 1.5 million the next 1 month. Yeah, it's an investment. You need that emergency fund, not just when an emergency or a problem comes up. An opportunity might also come up that you can actually take advantage because you have some money in savings. So I think I've been able to explain that as much as possible. If it depends on the situation, if the situation warrants that you borrow, not to finance your lifestyle, but to solve a critical problem, which you have income to pay back over a period of time, then borrowing in this case is not bad. Okay, so I have here, I said, Oka said, I have a suggestion. For a situation like that, I think taking 5% from the money you would naturally spend and save along the line, the expense we earned. Yeah, so similar to what I've said, taking part of the money you are saving, and that is what savings is for emergency. So the earlier we start saving, the better for us. So I need to start looking at rounding off, ladies and gentlemen. I have just 15 minutes to go. So like the last speaker, I created diversify your income. At times, your problem is not expenses. At times, your problem is not that your expenses is too high. At times, your problem is that your income is too low. You hear our politicians say that we have an income problem and not an a spending problem, meaning that Nigeria is not an oil-rich state. So they started coming up with a slang like Nigerians are not as rich as we thought we are, going by our population. But Nigeria has two problems. We have both spending problem and income problem. Spending problem because we are spending the money that we don't have. Nigeria is a good example of how not to borrow, because we borrow and we mismanage the borrowed funds. A very good example is in Senegal. About a few years back, Senegal used to run a bicameral legislature. What do I mean by bicameral legislature for our political students here? They have House of Rep and Senate. And Senegal said, we cannot maintain this. They scrap the Senate and maintain the House of Rep. That is managing their expenses, that we cannot finance these politicians. That is our problem. Today, we say we don't have money, but we still keep two levels of legislature, all of them having PAs and personal assistants and SSAs, senior advisors, and they are even becoming the largest employer of labor in the country. This is a spending problem on one hand. We are not managing our expenses. The second hand is that we have a lot of resources that because of the cumbersomeness of our laws, we are not tapping into them. Look at gas being fled away. We are more of a gas-rich country than an oil-rich country. What we should be doing is to explore these natural resources and create so much wealth from it. So we need to diversify our income as a country, the same way you also should be thinking of diversifying your income as a person. I'm just using that Nigerian scenario to tell you how your expenses, if not properly managed, your income, if not properly diversified, will lead you into problems. So we are all complaining about inflation. That is what happens when you cannot manage your expenses and you cannot diversify your income. That is a perfect case study that everybody can relate to themselves. Yeah. So try to diversify your income. See other ways you can make money. The guy in Oka was talking about collaboration. How can you collaborate with an existing business that can fetch you 30K on a monthly basis? You understand? So that is what we are talking about. All right, so try to diversify your income streams. Look for where you can actually earn more income from your daily income, your monthly income, as the case may be. All right, so I'm going to end the class with this pyramid, your 5 steps to financial freedom. These are things we have been talking about. The goal is for us to get to a point where we are financially free. Number 1, goal setting, positive money mindset, cash flow, money values, enjoy your job, set your financial goal. We've talked about that. Smart goals. Have a positive money mindset. Let your money work for you so that you will not continue to work for money. Number 2, have emergency fund. We spoke about that. Have savings. Things will happen. There will be raining days. Don't be the type that finish all your money as you earn them. And when there is rain, you now keep going to your friend that will be more frugal with their expenditure. Pay off bad debt. Debt will ruin you if you develop the habit of living your lifestyle based on debt. So avoid bad debt. A bad debt is a debt that was taken for a wrong purpose, as we have all agreed. So as much as possible, try to avoid debt, except they are very, very important, that you cannot do without it. That debt seems to be the only solution to this situation, or the debt you are taking will increase your net worth. Remember, we talked about net worth in our day 1 in this series. Try to avoid debt, except the debt will help you solve an emergency. And when that is the case, you must have a plan for repayment, 1 or 2, except the debt will increase your net worth significantly. That is when debt is good. Number 4, investment. We've talked about it. Let us learn to invest for the future. Protect your wealth. protect your wealth. Sound financial management. So there's no point getting to the top and losing everything. Don't gamble with your money. Don't bet. Betting is not a strategy for financial freedom. Betting is not an investment plan. Don't gamble with your money. Protect your wealth. There's no point getting to the top and making silly errors that will destroy your investment. So please, it's more important to protect your wealth than to create wealth. If you create wealth and you cannot protect it, then you are simply wasting your time and resources. All right, so these are your 5 steps to financial freedom. Number 1, set your goal. Always ensure you're setting goal, like our Oka friend that had a goal to buy a computer. Always ensure that you have emergency fund through savings. Always ensure that you manage your debt very well. Don't take debt except it is very important. Investment. Ensure you have some portfolio, no matter how small. Your investment can be as low as 200,000 naira. Ensure you are putting money towards your investment. And number 5, try to protect what you have saved and invested. I'm going to end this class with this quote from Jim Rohn. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. You have listened to me for 3 classes, 6 hours. Wow. Yeah, we engage for 6 hours in the past 3 weeks, and we've talked about some value adding, points. Many of you now can talk like financial managers, but the lecture is not sufficient if you don't have the right discipline to ensure that you stick to everything we've been talking about. Managing your expenses, not living your life for others, not copying or not living your life to impress people, as in let us learn to be disciplined and to stick to what we have been taught in the last 3 lectures. See, it is not going to be magical. It is over time. Try to stick to your budget, no matter how difficult it is. You always have a reason not to do the right thing. I'm telling you, you always have a reason not to do, this thing is so difficult, but there are people that earn less than you that are actually doing this. All right, at this point, I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you, more importantly, to my hosts today, the guys that made this happen. It's a very rare privilege for me to be talking to great people like this for the past 3 weeks. And I want to say, American Spaces, thank you so much for the opportunity to be one of your speakers on this program. Thank you so much. I have to stop here. It's 4 o'clock.
Thank you, sir.
I would like everybody to put your hands together. Everyone, put your hands together. Put your hands together. Mr. Shola, please, can you help me lower your thing so that we can see your face very well? A few minutes. No, I mean the slide. Can you drop the slide?
I should drop it. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very, very much for these wonderful sessions, which we started 3 weeks ago. This is the 3rd week. I believe, and I know very well from what I met this afternoon, I've missed, but not to worry, because I have the recordings and I'm going to take my time to listen and learn more. But I want all of us from Bauchi, Oka, Ikeja to please put your hands together again and appreciate him for giving us, if you are to pay for this, it's a lot of money. But gladly, he was able to give us this free of charge. We're really, really appreciative of these wonderful lectures you have given to us. And I would like to say this, Mr. Shola Adeyega, we're very, very grateful. And we know this is something that has taken you out of your normal schedule. And we want to show our heart of gratitude by saying that we will not relent until you are blessed in Jesus' name. Okay, now for all our participants, please, we want to plead with you to make sure that you sign your name. We are offering certificate of participation, so please make sure you sign your name the way you want it reflected on your participation. You remember, if you misspell, we cannot replace. If you misspell your name, we're not going to replace. So directors, please, let's make sure we do the needful. In closing, I want to thank all our directors for making this possible, for organizing, logging on time, and making sure that everybody is well taken care of. As you can see on your screen, we have another Shola. Can you see the name again? Another Shola Adeshake, who is a finance and wealth coach, who will be joining us for the next 2 weeks. So we have not done yet. We want you to please keep a date with us and let's have fun together. With this, we would like to close. Thursday, we're still having, what do we have on Thursday? Anybody? Thursday, what do we have on Thursday? Bochi, we have Black History Month movie, and we encourage you to please be part and parcel of this, okay? Also on Friday, which is Friday 16, we have another program, conversation with one of our alums, and it's going to be on waste to wealth. So we encourage you also to be part and parcel of this. It's very, very beneficial. Please don't miss it. Thank you, everybody. Maiduguri, we can see you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone. Ibadan, Gombe, Port Harcourt, Calabar, Makurdi, Benin City, Kano, Bina, Uyo, Ikeja, Bochi, America Center, Lagos. Thank you. Have a wonderful night, and bye-bye to you. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.